Hello and welcome to Farthest Frontier. I'm Shadow Coast and welcome to the channel. In this video, we're going to outline tips and tricks to selecting your town location. When you start a new game, you have an opportunity to select your starting town position, and we're going to run through a few tips and tricks. Most of these should be obvious. Nonetheless, I thought I'd make a list. Please be sure to comment and outline anything I might have missed. So we're going to start here. We just generated a map. This is a large map, so you can pick your side. So, tip number one, the game does not start until you select your starting location. So you can take as much time as you want, and I recommend you do so because your starting location will determine a lot, and you're going to need to build around it if you want to build efficiently, especially from defending from different attacks if you're not in pacifist mode. Moving on, when you're looking around, you're going to want to position your town center by a lot of resources so you don't have to build too far and you can reduce travel time. In doing so, you can see kind of the readily resources available um, on the map here with the different icons and where the water is. But also you can use I to look at your water index. So darker water means that you're going to get better fill in your well or a bonus to your well. And so you're going to want that because as you kind of build out your town, you're not going to want to have to build a gazillion wells to be efficient. So make sure you click I, which gives you your kind of water index for good locations of water. You don't necessarily have to be by a lake or pond. Um, you can find decent water with the trees, although if you cut these down, the multiplier could decrease. So you can do that by clicking I. The other thing I recommend is clicking F. This is the fertility. At some point, when you expand your town, you are going to have to leverage farming. So by looking at the fertility index, you can understand where the best potential positioning will be for fertility. Obviously, once you're in game, you can impact the fertility by crop rotations and then adding clay and sand in a few other ways. So that's good to know. But starting off, it is good to know where the most fertile land is so you can position your town center accordingly. Now, I mentioned resources. Starting off, what I like to do is actually click F for fertility, or you could do I. And the reason that is that it gives you an easier view of stone and trees, at least in my opinion, and the resources pop out. So I like to keep those on when I'm looking. Now, when we talk about resources, there are two main resources that we're going to think about immediately. The first are trees or wood, and the second is stone. You can see that stone right there, which is important. So keep that in mind. On top of that, you also want to think about clay deposits, uh, coal deposits, and iron deposits, which nothing's popping out to me right now. But just keep an eye out for those deposits, and you're going to want to try to position your town close to all three of them if you can. Now, when you're positioning your town, what I recommend doing is zooming in. I'm sporting a 3070 Ti and a new AMD CPU, so um, things are relatively quick. I know if you're playing on some older gear, zooming in and out can really take time, so just keep that in mind. But you want to zoom in and effectively, before placing your town, make sure you're selecting a place that is relatively flat. Now you can level terrain, but that takes time, and I do recommend to have a strong start that you're not spending all your time leveling terrain to build houses. Try to start in a relatively flat location so you can build around your town center, especially building those 6 houses to start to get a few extra settlers to join your settlement to kind of accelerate what you're doing. Now, a few other tips and tricks to think about. Let's say you're looking and you don't have a good location and you're just not happy with the map. If you click escape, you can quickly click reroll map and that will start a new map and it will generate a new map. We're not going to do that because it does take a little time to generate a map. So that's an easy kind of trick there. The other thing that you might want to toggle is G, which is desirability. Now, in general, you can see here there isn't that much of a difference. So in general, you don't have to worry about desirability. Everything's more or less equal, but you never know. There might be kind of a space that's just a little less desirable, so you can always toggle that. Now, general principles, I like to try to set up on a flat ground close to resources. So over here we have some clay, we have some coal. Let's see, coal, which is good. We have a lot of kind of resources, hawthorn. Over here we have willow brush and other resources we can forage, which is nice. So I would probably pick something in this area to start. And if I'm trying to zoom in and kind of determine the level of the ground, which is hard to do when placing it, so it's kind of a rough estimate, best guess estimate, I'd probably pick something in here because I'm easy close to stone, I'm close to wood, and then I'm relatively close to water as well as fertile land. And I can also kind of build industry and agriculture over here, collecting clay deposits, coal. I'm not seeing a lot of iron on this map, so that could be a challenge. I'd probably want to understand where am I going to have to build to. We have some gold ore again over here. That's not that far away. We have boars for hunting, which is good. So just a general principle. You also want to keep an eye out for predators. The most obvious one is the wolves. They tend to be white and appear here, and in some cases they will have dens. So keep that in mind that when you're placing, just look for predators. If you're posting up close to a den, that can be very treacherous to your settlers. So keep that in mind when you're looking. So that about covers it. If you found this video helpful, please consider dropping a thumbs up, and if you have any interest in supporting the channel, please consider subscribing. And also, if I missed critical tips to selecting the best starting location, please be sure to drop them in the comments. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you in future videos. Shadow Coast out.